Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into Arnold Schwarzenegger's incredible journey to his first Mr. Olympia win in 1970. How did a young man from a small Austrian village become a global icon? Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born on July 30, 1947, in the small village of Thal, near Graz in Styria, Austria. The second son of Aurelia and Gustav Schwarzenegger, Arnold's upbringing was far removed from the glitz and glamour that would later define his life. As a young boy, Arnold was exposed to various athletic activities. His father encouraged him and his brother Meinhard to participate in sports, partly as a means to instill discipline. But it was his first sight of a bodybuilding magazine that changed the course of his life. Intrigued by the powerful physiques of the men in the photographs, Arnold became fascinated with the art of bodybuilding. He began researching, sourcing whatever information he could find in a time when bodybuilding was far from a mainstream sport, especially in rural Austria. The makeshift gym equipment that Arnold initially used was rudimentary at best, often consisting of weights made from spare car parts. But what he lacked in resources, he more than made up for in determination. His early mentors were local fitness enthusiasts, and he voraciously read bodybuilding magazines, idolizing figures like Red Park and Steve Reeves, both of whom became cinematic Hercules figures on the big screen. These were not just bodybuilders to Arnold. They were heroes who had leveraged their physical prowess into something much bigger, transcending the limits of the sport. This had a profound influence on him, compelling him to dream of America as the land of opportunity, where he too could transform his passion for bodybuilding into a multifaceted career. From a young age, Arnold showed a proclivity for sports and fitness. His first foray into organized sports included soccer, which was one of the most popular sports in Austria. However, it wasn't long before his interests shifted toward individual pursuits that allowed him to focus on building his physique. Inspired by the physiques of the bodybuilders he saw in magazines, Arnold soon realized that bodybuilding was not just another sport for him. It was an obsession, a way of life. Even as a teenager, his commitment to bodybuilding was evident. He would often cycle for miles to the nearest gym, train for hours, and then cycle back home, all while juggling his academic and familial responsibilities. His dedication was such that he would break into the local gym on weekends when it was closed, just to ensure he never missed a workout. Such was his drive to excel that by the age of 18, he had already won several junior weightlifting and bodybuilding competitions in Austria, establishing himself as a young talent with immense potential. For a young Arnold Schwarzenegger, America was the land of unlimited possibilities, a place where dreams were realized and ambitions fueled. Even as a teenager, he envisioned himself not just as a great bodybuilder, but as a global icon. He looked up to figures like Red Park and Steve Reeves, who had successfully transitioned from bodybuilding into acting careers in Hollywood. These men were not just champions in the sport, but also international stars, and their trajectories served as blueprints for Arnold's own ambitions. Arnold finally realized his dream when he arrived in the United States in 1968, landing in Los Angeles with little money and limited English skills. The cultural adjustments were immediate and significant. From the language barrier to understanding the nuances of American social dynamics, Arnold faced multiple challenges. He had left his family and a familiar world behind, diving headfirst into an environment that was as alien as it was exciting. Despite the initial culture shock, Arnold's single-minded focus on his career in bodybuilding remained steadfast. He took English classes and worked odd jobs to sustain himself while spending most of his time training. Being far away from home and initially isolated due to language and cultural barriers could have been discouraging, but for Arnold, these were merely hurdles to overcome on the path to success. The U.S. bodybuilding scene was already well established when Arnold arrived, with competitions, magazines, and gyms dedicated to the sport. The stakes were high and the competition fierce, but this was exactly the kind of environment in which Arnold thrived. He began training at Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, which was the hub for aspiring bodybuilders. Here he was exposed to the best in the field, including Joe Weider, the man often referred to as the father of bodybuilding. Joe Weider recognized Arnold's potential early on and took him under his wing. This mentorship was invaluable, providing Arnold not just with advanced training techniques but also opportunities for exposure in the bodybuilding world through competitions and magazine features. In 1969, Arnold competed in and won the Mr. Universe title, announcing his arrival on the international bodybuilding stage. But it wasn't just his remarkable physique that set him apart. It was also his charisma, his confidence, and his ability to captivate an audience, traits that would serve him well not only in bodybuilding, but in every path he would choose to walk thereafter. As the 1970 Mr. Olympia competition loomed on the horizon, Arnold knew that he had to be in the best shape of his life to win the title. This was not just another competition. It was the pinnacle of bodybuilding, the platform that could catapult him to international stardom. Arnold's training regimens were both rigorous and methodical. He trained 6 days a week, often twice a day, focusing on different muscle groups in each session. The Arnold split, as it came to be known, involved isolating muscle groups and working them to exhaustion, which included a mix of compound and isolation exercises. His training also featured a high-volume approach. Arnold would do multiple sets with high repetitions, aiming to pump as much blood into the muscles as possible for optimum growth. He often implemented techniques like supersets and drop sets to add intensity and variety to his workouts. When the day of the 1970 Mr. Olympia competition finally arrived, Arnold was a picture of confidence and poise. His strategy was clear: dominate the stage not just with his physique but also with his larger-than-life personality. Arnold's posing routine was meticulously choreographed, emphasizing his strong points while minimizing any weaknesses. His experience in previous competitions and his natural flair for showmanship came to the fore as he commanded the stage. His strategic use of dramatic pauses, lighting, and angles showcased his physique to its fullest advantage. Arnold's efforts bore fruit when he was declared the winner of the 1970 Mr. Olympia, beating out established competitors and announcing his arrival at the pinnacle of the bodybuilding world. The victory was not just a validation of his skills and dedication, but also a fulfillment of a dream that had taken root years ago in a small Austrian village. The immediate aftermath was electrifying. Arnold received widespread media attention, his victory making headlines not just in bodybuilding circles but in mainstream news outlets as well. Endorsements rolled in, and he became an overnight sensation. Moreover, his win solidified his relationship with Joe Weider, who continued to mentor him, helping him navigate the sudden fame and opportunities that came his way. More importantly, the win set the stage for Arnold's domination of the sport for years to come. He would go on to win the Mr. Olympia title 6 more times, establishing himself as one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. But the 1970 title was special. It was the win that announced Arnold Schwarzenegger as a force to be reckoned with, not just in bodybuilding, but as a global icon in the making. And there you have it, the inspiring story of Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1970 Mr. Olympia win. From Austria to the global stage, it's a testament to what you can achieve with grit and ambition. If you enjoyed this, hit like, share, and subscribe for more. See you next time.